Good morning, my dear student. Let us continue the chapter, The Voter by China Achebe. Last class, we had seen the leader of POP met roofs. The leader of POP he gave a strange visit to the house of roof and had given $5 and asked his vote for their candidate. Roof, he couldn't refuse that money because he desperately need that money to give the laborers who are busy in harvesting his land. And then he had taken the money, Roof had taken the money, he made a promise on that was the god of Igbo community. He made the promise he will vote for their candidate, POP, candidate Maduka. Actually, Marcus IB, he put a lot of faith on Roof and considered he was the most trusted followers of Marcus IB. Now, he had taken a money from the opponent party. Now, he deceived his candidate Marcus IB. Now, he cheated his candidate Marcus IB. Then on the day of election, he advised the people to vote for Marcus IB and motivating the people to vote for Marcus IB and convinced the people the sign of PAP, motor car, you wanted to vote for motor car. You should not vote for the other party, the party with the symbol of the man's head. So he is guiding the people. But he was feeling guiltiness in his mind because in a secret he is deceiving, is cheating his own candidate Marcus IB. So all these things we had studied in the last class. Let us continue today. In spite of his apparent calm confidence, Chief the Honorable Marcus was relentless stickler for detail. In spite of Marcus IB was looking cool and calm, so he was more tension, he was excited. Relentless stickler. Relentless means determines. So stickler means the man considers something is very important. So he was excitement. The meaning of this sentence, Marcus IB was a relentless stickler, means he was more excited for the detail. For the detail means the percentage of voting for every hour. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ತಾಸಿಗೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ವೋಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಆತುರನಾಗಿದ್ದ. ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಶಾಂತವಾಗಿ ಕಂಡರೂ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ತಾಸಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಆತುರನಾಗಿದ್ದ ಇವನು. He knew he would win what the newspaper called a landslide victory, but he did not wish even so to throw away a single vote. Marcus IB, you knew very well that definitely he will win the election, and tomorrow the newspaper printed Marcus IB victory was landslide victory. Landslide victory means he would win by getting a majority vote, you knew. But he should not want to waste a single vote. That's why he was more enthusiasm, more excitement on the time of election. ಇವನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಚುನಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿನೇ ನಾನೇ ಗೆಲ್ಲೋದು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಇವನಿಗೆ. ನಾಳೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ವಿಕ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿ ಈ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ವಿಕ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ವೋಟಲ್ಲಿ ಗೆದ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ವೋಟನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವೋಟು ನನಗೆ ಬೀಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. So as soon as the first rush of voter was over, he promptly asked his campaign boys to go one and at a time put in their ballot papers. Then he watched after the first round of voting has finished. Then he asked his campaign boys to vote one by one. ಮೊದಲನೇ ರೌಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಮುಗ್ದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ತನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಇನ್ನು ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ ವೋಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. Then he called the Roof. Roof, you had better go first, Marcus IB said. Marcus IB said that Roof, he has to go to first. He has to vote at first. So he called the Roof to vote first. Roofನ ಕರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಮೊದಲು ನೀನು ಹೋಗಿ ವೋಟ್ ಮಾಡು. Now the story reached the climax. Now we see the dilemma of Roof, because he had already taken $5 from the opposition leader, and he made a promise that he will vote for Maduka. But now he is convincing, now he is guiding the people of ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿಗೆ ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ, ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿಗೆ ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೆ ತಾನೇ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿಗೆ ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಗೊಂದಲದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ರೂಫ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ಸ್ ಫೆಲ್ means suddenly Roofs lost his spirit, because now he was completely he had completely involved in guiding the people. He forget himself. Now he lost his spirit. When he let no one see it, all morning he had masked his deep worry with a surface exertion which was unusual even for him. So all the morning he had masked himself. Means he did not show his real face. He hid the secret himself. So he completely involved in guiding the people, in canvassing the people. Even though he was felt some kind of unusual, ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವನಿಗೊಂಥರ ಅನ್ಯೂಶುವಲ್, ವಿಚ್ ಈ ಫೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಚೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿನ ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ. ಈ ವಾಸ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಗಿಲ್ಟಿನೆಸ್. ಆ ಪಾಪ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಕುಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಖವಾಡ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದನೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಖವಾಡ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬಿಗೆ ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕು ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಆದರೆ ತಾನೇ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬಿಗೆ ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವನು. Now he dashed off in his springy fashion towards the booth. Now he dashed off means now he started to move in springy fashion means in a lively way, with more enthusiasm towards the booth. ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿಯಿಂದ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿಯಿಂದ ಆ ಒಂದು ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಬೂತ್ ಕಡೆ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. The policeman at the entrance searched him for illegal ballot papers, passed him. Before he entered into the voting booth, the policeman checked him to confirm whether he has illegal ballot paper. ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಏನಾರ ಅನ್ಯಾಯದ ಯಾವುದರ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ explained to him about the two boxes. Then the electoral officer, when he enter into the voting booth, the electoral officer means presiding officer, he explained about the voting boxes. They kept two voting boxes, one for PAP, another for POP party. They kept two boxes. They explained about it. By the time Spring had gone clean out of his walk, when the electoral officer, the presiding officer, explained about the boxes, he lost his spirit. ಆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ನ ಕಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಿಸ್ ವಾಕ್, he sidled in, was confronted by the car and the head. He sidled means he moved before the box. He was confronted means there are two boxes before him, one for the car, another for the man's head. ಒಂದು ಕಾರಿನ ಚಿಹ್ನೆ ಇರೋ ಬಾಕ್ಸು, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ತಲೆ ಇರೋ ಬಾಕ್ಸು, ಎರಡು ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮುಂದೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. He brought out his ballot paper from his packet and looked at it. He took the ballot paper from his packet and he watched that ballot paper. How could he betray Marcus even in secret? Very important sentence. How could he betray? Betray means to cheat is Marcus IB even in secret. So how could he cheat Marcus IB? He had taken a lot of benefits from Marcus IB and guiding the people to vote for Marcus IB. How could he betray the Marcus IB in secret? So he was the most trusted followers of Marcus IB. Marcus IB also kept a lot of faith ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೇತ್ ಆನ್ ರೂಫ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ನಂಬಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅವನ ಬಹಳ ನಂಬಿಕಸ್ಥ ಫಾಲೋವರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಜನಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬಿಗೆ ವೋಟ್ ಹಾಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬಿಂದ ಅನೇಕ ಲಾಭಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಹೇಗೆ ಅವನು ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬಿಗೆ ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಸೊ ಈ ವಾಸ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಗಿಲ್ಟಿನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ತನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪಾಪ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆ, ತಪ್ಪಿನ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆ ಅರಿವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ. ಈ ರಿಸೋಲ್ವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ಅದರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟು ಹಿಸ್ 5 pounds. ದೆನ್ ಸಡನ್ಲಿ he decided to go back to the leader of POP and he will give back that money. ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ವಾಪಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹಣವನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮನಸ್ಸು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ. 5 pounds, return is 5 pounds. 5 pounds, he knew at once it was impossible. He had sworn on that 5 pounds, the large amount of money, impossible to give that money. And also he made a promise. He sworn on the name of ಆ ಒಂದು ಆದಿವಾಸಿ ದೇವತೆಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೈ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮಾಣವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಮತ್ತು 5 pounds ನೋಟು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಇವನಿಗೆ ಹಣ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ, ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವನ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ. He knew at once it was impossible. He had sworn on that the note were read. The cocoa farm was busy at work. The cocoa farm was busy at work. Now he needs money desperately because he wanted to pay the wages to his labor. They are busy in cocoa cultivation. ಆ ಕೊಕ್ಕೋ ವ್ಯವಸಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸದ ಆಳುಗಳು ಬ್ಯುಸಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೂಲಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇವನು ಹಣ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಇವನಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಇಂಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ದಟ್ ಮನಿ. ಆ ಹಣವನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನ ಕೈಲಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ರೂಫಿಗೆ. At this point, he heard the muffled voice of the policeman asking the electoral officer what the man was doing inside. So when we was thinking before the ballot box ಮುಂದೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮುಂದೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. So how could he betray Marcus Saib in secret? And also on the other hand, he couldn't give back that money, $5, because he need that money. So when he was thinking, the police officer inquired what the man was doing inside that voting booth ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್. ವಾಟ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಬೀನಾ ಪಿಕಿನ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಡಿ ಬಾರ್ನ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ Nigerian language. So the policeman was asked the electoral officer what the man was doing inside. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋದವನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅವನು. ಇಟ್ ಟುಕ್ ಎ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಭಾಳ ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಲ್ ಮತದಾರದ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನಲ್ಲಿ. Quick as lightning, a thought leapt into Ruth's mind. Quick as lightning, a thought leapt into Ruth's mind. Suddenly he got one wonderful idea. He folded the paper, tore it in two along the crease, put one half in each boxer. Suddenly he got a wonderful idea. Then he fold the ballot paper and tore the paper into 2 parts. ಎರಡು ಭಾಗವಾಗಿ ಆ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಅರಿತಾನೆ. Then put one half in each boxers. ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ವಿಚಾರ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆ ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು 2 ಭಾಗವಾಗಿ ಅರ್ದು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಭಾಗವನ್ನು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾನೆ. He took the precautions of putting the first half in Maduka's box. He took lot of precautions when he was putting the half in the Maduka's box, the box with the sign of man's head. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ತಲೆ ಇರುವ ಮಡುಕ ಅಭ್ಯರ್ಥಿಯ ಒಂದು ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಬಹಳ ಕಾಳಜಿಯಿಂದ ಆ ಒಂದು ವೋಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಅರ್ಧ ಪೇಪರ್ನ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸಾಹೇಬಿ ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾನೆ. Confirm the action verbally. Then when he was putting the vote to the Maduka vote ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, I vote for Maduka. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈ ಸ್ವಾನ್ ಆನ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೀ ಆನ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಗಾಡ್, ಆ ದೇವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರತಿಜ್ಞೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ ನಾನು ಮಡುಕಾಗೆ ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಹಾಕಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಐ ವೋಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮಡುಕ, ನಾವು ಮಡುಕಾಗೆ ವೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. So they marked his thumb with indelible purple ink to prevent his return. The electoral officers, they marked his finger with indelible ink. He should not be returned back. ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಡ್ದು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವನ ಬೆರಳಿಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಳಿಸಲಾದ ಶಾಯಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. He went out of the booth as gently as he had gone in. Then Roofs, he went out of the voting booth jauntily means lively, with more enthusiasm, that he came out of the dilemma. ಆ ಗೊಂದಲದಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ಖುಷಿಯಿಂದ, ಆ ಟೆಲಿಫೋನ್ ಬೂತಿಂದ ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿಯಿಂದ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವೇ he came out of the dilemma, he came out of the confusion. Whom does he vote? Either Marcus Saibi or Maduka. Finally torn the paper into two pieces, one for Maduka and one for Marcus Saibi. In this way he came out of the dilemma. ಗೊಂದಲದಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. So this is the end of the chapter. This is the end of the chapter, The Voter by China Achebe. So this chapters, it has 11 highlights. First highlights, Roof's popularity. He became very famous by helping the people. He had not abandoned the village. He helped the people in their difficult times. That's why he became very popular. Next, Umofia, the name of the village where Roofs live. Roof ವಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಹೆಸರು Umofia, already belonged to People Alliance Party. The people supporting People Alliance Party. Third point, Marcus Saibi was the chief of PAP and the Minister of Culture. Third point, Marcus Saibi was the chief of PAP party, People Alliance Party, and the Minister of Culture in outgoing government. ಈಗ ಚುನಾವಣೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುವ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವನು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಸಚಿವನಾಗಿದ್ದ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಐಬಿ. Fourth point, Roof was the most trusted followers of Marcus Saibi. Roof was the most trusted followers of Marcus Saibi. He guide the people, he motivate the people to vote for Marcus Saibi. Next we see the ignorance of the voter. The ignorance of the voter. Now they are ready to sell their vote for money. ಹಣಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ತಮ್ಮ ಮತವನ್ನು ಮಾರಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ತಯಾರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Next, Marcus Saibi joined politics and his dirty politics. Marcus Saibi was already, before he entered into the politics, he was a school teacher. Then he joined a politics to escape from the immediate dismissal. That's why he joined the politics and he became the head and the Minister of Culture. ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸೈಬಿ ರಾಜಕೀಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಮೊದಲು ರಾಜಕೀಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಒಂದು ಶಾಲೆಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆವೆಂತ್ ಒನ್, ರೂಫ್ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನಿಪುಲೇಟರ್, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಈ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಈ ಗೈಡ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಟು ವೋಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕಸ್ ಸೈಬಿ. Next, the misuse of democracy. We see the misuse of democracy in this chapter. Next, POP was the opponent party of PAP. POP is the opponent. Opponent ಅಂದರೆ ವಿರೋಧ ಪಕ್ಷ. PAP ವಿರೋಧ ಪಕ್ಷ, Progressive Organization Party. And its candidate was Maduka. Next, 10th one, the leader of POP met Roof. So immediately the leader of POP gave a strange visit to the Roof house and had given him $5. The last one, the dilemma of Roof. So he was in a confusion which party, whether to vote Marcus Saibi or Maduka. Then he came out of his dilemma. So the chapter covers all these 11 points. If you study keeping all these 11 points in your mind, you can write 4 marks and 6 marks, and you can write very quickly 1 marks questions. ಈ 11 ಪಾಯಿಂಟನ್ನು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪಾಠವನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸಿಗೂ 6 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸಿಗೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರಿಬೋದು, 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಆನ್ಸರ್ನ ಬರಿಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಐಲೆಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ವೆನೆವರ್ ಯು ರೀಡ್ ದ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ದೀಸ್ 6 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಈ ಪಾಠವನ್ನು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈ 6 ಪಾಯಿಂಟನ್ನು ನೀವು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. Thank you very much.